Alright, so we're back in the Maverick, and today we are going to be installing this tachometer that I picked up from Princess Auto for 30 bucks. I'm thinking I'm going to put it right on the steering column here. And it comes with this little bracket that I think I can screw in right there. I think that's a good spot for it. It'll sit like that about. I mean, I could put it up standing right in between there, but I kind of like it off down to the side. Kind of out of the way. Doesn't mess up the classic look of this. So, yeah, I think that's where we're going to put it. So we've got some wiring to do. So we've got 4 wires here. We've got green, red, white, and black. Black is going to be the ground wire. Red is going to be the key on 12-volt power. White is going to be for the illumination. So we're going to have to tap into something under there that's also illuminated. Not sure what, but I'm sure we'll find something. And green is the tach wire where it gets its signal from, and that is going to go to the coil. So obviously it's the longest wire because it's got to go the farthest distance. So under the hood we're going to have to connect the green wire from the tachometer to the coil, which is right there. So we're going to have to run that wire through the firewall, which it looks like that square hole right there goes right through, and I mean, that'll work perfect. See, I'm not really sure why there's a big hole in the firewall like that, but I mean, we can use that pretty easily, and I'll close it off properly once I get the tach installed. And we're also going to have to tap into a ground wire and a 12-volt key on wire, which I'm probably just going to take from the back of the voltage gauge right here. So I'll probably just tap into that because that's only on when the key's on, and that'll work perfect for the tach. So that's what we're going to do. So when I pulled this voltage gauge out of this pod to tap into the wires, I noticed, hey, it's got a bulb on it. I never knew this because the previous owner or whoever installed these gauges left this cover on the bulb, so it wasn't letting any light out. But let's just see if it works. Yep. So we can just tap our tach wires into everything here, illumination, ground, and key on power, and then all we have to do is run the green wire to the coil and connect that, and we're done. Alright, so I've got the lights, the power, the ground, everything hooked up. The light behind this gauge wasn't wired up to anything either, so I tied it into everything as well. And the oil pressure gauge does not have a light in it. It's also not hooked up to oil pressure, so it does fuck all. So we're going to put the key in and see if the bulbs and everything still works, and then we'll hook up the tach wire to the coil. And we'll turn the car on and see if the tach works. It should, in theory. So let's turn the car on. Also, check out that awesome keychain. Okay. Yeah, you can see the light. And you can see light there, barely. Looks like the light in there is working as well. So that's good. So we're going to hook up the tach wire now, and hopefully it works. Okay, so we've got the green wire through that giant gaping hole in the firewall, and we're going to pull it out as much as we can. Okay, and then we're going to trim it for length because we got a shit ton of fucking wire here. So I figure we trim it about there. That should give us enough, and then we'll slip this onto the wire. We'll crimp that down, and we will stick it on the coil. Okay, now I could be completely fucking wrong on this, but I would assume it goes on the positive side of the coil. So that's where I stuck it. It's not hard to take off if it's wrong and switch it, but okay, so we've got that wired up. We've got everything inside wired up. I guess it's time to start the car and see if the tach works. Alright, attempt number 2, we'll put it on that side of the coil. I should have read the instructions better, but hey. Alright, round 2. There we go. Awesome. So it's idling around 1000 RPM on the curb idle screw. It's a little high. I want it around 800 to 900 RPM, but it's not bad, so I can adjust that a little bit. Fast idle was idling around 14 to 1500 RPM, which is a touch high, I think. I'm not exactly sure, but 1200 to 1300 I think would be better for that. I'll do a little research and see. But yeah, tach works. I got the red line set at about 5500, which this engine will never see, but we can adjust that. Yeah, so I'm done. Tach installed. I think it looks pretty good there.